Straight ahead on WBKB, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin received his sentence today.
Plus, a new program at the Alpena City Fire Department, and the Duck Park ecosystem gets a makeover.
You are watching Thunder Bay News Network. WBKB News at 6 starts now.
This is WBKB News at 6. An in-depth look at news, weather, and sports. From hard-hitting news stories to local events, we're there with coverage you can count on. You're watching WBKB News at 6.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Tyler Cruz.
And I'm Sherry Stewart. The former police officer who killed George Floyd returned to court for sentencing today.
Yeah, Sherry, and he received a term of more than 22 years in prison. Michael George reports from Minneapolis.
I'm not going to attempt to be...
In a courtroom tense with anticipation, Derek Chauvin faced a judge to be sentenced for the murder of George Floyd.
The court commits you to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 270 months. That's 270. That is a 10-year addition to the presumptive sentence of 150 months. This is based on your abuse of a position of trust and authority, and also the particular cruelty shown to George Floyd.
Before hearing his fate, Chauvin had a chance to address the court.
This time, due to some additional legal matters at hand, I'm not able to give a full formal statement at this time. But very briefly, though, I do want to give my condolences to the Floyd family.
The full extent of our pain.
Family members made statements on how the case has affected their lives since the day last year when Chauvin was captured on videotape kneeling on Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes, ignoring his pleas for air.
I haven't had a real nice sleep because of the nightmares I constantly have hearing my brother beg and plead for his life over and over again.
Floyd's 7-year-old daughter Gianna spoke over video.
If you could say anything to your daddy right now, what would it be?
It would be, I miss you and I love you.
Chauvin was found guilty of murder in April. Since then, the judges considered sentencing arguments from both sides, as well as victim impact statements and an investigation into Chauvin's past. Chauvin's mother addressed the court and her son directly.
Remember, there is no stronger bond or love than a mother's love.
Chauvin has been held in a maximum security prison since his conviction, segregated from other inmates for security reasons. With good behavior, he'll likely serve 2/3 of his sentence behind bars and the rest on parole. Michael George, CBS News, Minneapolis.
Justice Department is going to challenge Georgia's new election law in court.
They claim the measure will disproportionately affect minority voters, and the DOJ says that was the intent of the legislature that passed it. Natalie Brand has more.
The Department of Justice is suing Georgia over its new voting law. Attorney General Merrick Garland argues the state's Election Integrity Act will make it harder for people to vote, especially communities of color.
The complaint alleges that the state enacted those restrictions with the purpose of denying or abridging the right to vote on account of race or color.
This is the first major voting rights case brought by the Justice Department under the Biden administration. It comes as a number of Republican-controlled state legislatures have passed bills that critics say will restrict the right to vote.
The rights of all eligible citizens to vote are the central pillars of our democracy.
Georgia passed its sweeping bill in March following record turnout in 2020. The suit filed by the DOJ Friday takes aim at several provisions, including new voter ID requirements, limiting the use of ballot drop boxes, and a ban on efforts by churches and civic groups to give food and water to people waiting in line. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp responded,
"There's somebody lying to you about SB 202, the Elections Integrity Act, that was passed in Georgia, and it is not me."
Separate from the DOJ suit, the White House says the president will soon hit the road to make the case for expanding voting rights, taking the fight to the state level.
It's a priority to the president to engage, educate, empower people to know what their rights are. We want to work with states and local authorities to do exactly that.
Meanwhile, the DOJ says it's looking at other recently passed state election laws and launching a task force focused on threats made against election officials. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Here's meteorologist Ellie Morrison with a first check of the weather. Ellie, it looks like we're going to get wet this weekend.
That's right, Tyler. More rain on the way this weekend, and we are seeing some pockets of showers throughout northeast Michigan. One pocket of showers just south of Alpena, in between Alpena and Hubbard Lake. More showers just passing by the Tawas area. 70 and cloudy in Oscoda, 74 and cloudy in Alpena. Tomorrow starts dry and ends wet. This evening we'll have temperatures heading into the upper and middle 60s. Early morning lows starting in the lower 60s. Highs tomorrow afternoon near 76 degrees. We'll talk about the humidity and rain on the way over the next couple of days. A bit of an unsettled forecast. More details later in the program.
Thanks for that, Ellie. We'll check back in with you in a bit. Well, the waters at Duck Park today got a makeover. An invasive species research team cut invasive cattail out of the waters. The researchers were from Loyola University of Chicago, and they were using underwater weed whackers to cut the plants. Volunteers and the Thunder Bay River Center were pulling invasive European frogbit out of the water as well. The cattail and the frogbit grow together, and if they're not handled, they could be detrimental to the ecosystem. Now, this is one of many projects the Thunder Bay River Center has done in the past years to combat these invasive species.
Yeah, such an interesting project.
It was really cool seeing the big canoe full of the weeds and cattail.
For sure.
Right?
Well, the Alpena Fire Department introduces a new program geared towards students and retirees. The auxiliary program consists of 2 divisions. Division 1 features paid on-call responders, including firefighters and EMT. Division 2 includes retiree reserve. Chief Bill Forbush is excited about this new program. He explained to WBKB the program benefits.
We'll provide that training for them at no cost, so that they can supplement our career responders in the community on medical calls and on fires. If there's a major fire throughout the area, we would be able to use them to supplement personnel.
Forbush also explained why this plan makes sense.
If we could have a retiree with 30 years experience and put him on the pump panel to operate the fire pump, and then take our 22-year-old brand new firefighter and send him in the building, that makes a lot more sense.
Forbush says recruiting and retention for firefighting and EMS presents its own challenges. He says he hopes to work with schools and use this program as a career path for students. For more information on this opportunity, visit our website at WBKB11.com.
Well, Cher, it feels like January was like just yesterday, but can you believe next weekend is the 4th of July?
I know, it's gone by so fast.
Right? And the 4th of July parade through Alpena will take a very different route this year. The parade will start at 1 p.m. because the 4th is a Sunday. It will kick off at Besser Company on Johnson Street and then head to Oldfield Street and 9th Avenue before following 9th Ave to Chisholm. The parade will turn from Chisholm onto 2nd Ave before heading down Fletcher Street and ending at the parking lot by the National Marine Sanctuary. Now, the deadline to register a float is next Wednesday, and you can find more information at WBKB11.com. I'm excited for that.
I am too.
More news ahead for you here on WBKB. Coming up, it was a busy week at the Bagley Street Bridge project, and meteorologist Ellie Morrison has your 7-day forecast next.
We will see mostly cloudy skies, temperatures just a touch cooler with highs around the middle 70s. So we're feeling that summertime humidity moving into Michigan.
Man. It's like the cold front was swapped out with stickiness and humidity.
Yeah, just about. Almost feels tropical, or it certainly will by Sunday.
Yeah.
And today's photo was sent in by Karen Swafford. Karen says she's been seeing a deer in the pond during the hot, dry weather, but when she saw these twin fawns and their mother, she had to take a picture. They eat seaweed and water lilies. Thank you, Karen, for sharing this photo with us. If you have a photo such as nature shots, pics with friends, or interesting sights you see that you'd like to send us, email it along with a short description to news@WBKB11.com.
It's like Bambi. It's a sad scene too in Bambi. Coming up on WBKB News, a new study on youth sports and concussions, and Jake Vanderbrook will have the latest in sports. Stay tuned. Welcome back. It was a busy week for the workers at the Bagley Street Bridge. All 3 piers for the new bridge are now complete. The contractor was placing concrete around abutment A this morning and should have finished by the end of today. Next week, they begin removing sheet piling around the abutment, in order to put in materials that will prevent the new bridge from eroding.
All 3 piers are now complete in the river. Currently, as we speak right now, the concrete is being placed for the abutment A. That's what they're doing at this point. Should have that finished today.
Brady says the contractor is still on schedule to finish the project this fall.
Well, that project is moving right along.
Oh, yeah.
Very nicely. In health news, identifying children at risk for a rare syndrome linked to COVID and the latest on a common COVID symptom. Bradley Blackburn has today's top health stories.
New research suggests most people who lose their sense of smell with COVID-19 gain it back. French researchers looked at about 50 COVID patients who lost their smell and found about half recovered at 4 months and nearly all recovered by 1 year. Black and Latino children are more affected by the multisystem inflammatory syndrome known as MIS-C than white children. That's according to a new study from Children's National Hospital. Nearly 4,000 children in the U.S. have been diagnosed with MIS-C, which has been linked to COVID-19 and can be life-threatening. And new research shows middle school sports have an overall higher rate of concussion than high school and college sports. The study in the Journal of the National Athletic Trainers Association found the highest concussion rates in football, girls soccer, and wrestling. Those are some of the day's top health stories. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And sports is coming up next, but first, Jake Vanderbrook is here with a preview. Jake, what's going on?
All right, so we got the chance to talk to 2 area golfers that competed in this year's Michigan Open. More on that. And when one door closes, another one opens. I'll be saying my final goodbye here at WBKB. You're watching WBKB News at 6.
Welcome back. Well, today is the day Fast and Furious 9 crashes into theaters, and the daytime Emmys are handed out tonight on CBS. Danya Bacchus has your eye on entertainment.
Tonight's 48th Daytime Emmy Award show will feature a mix of in-person and virtual acceptance speeches. The Young and the Restless's Melissa Claire Egan is nominated for Best Actress in a Daytime Drama.
I'm really a fan of all of these women that I'm nominated with, so it's all been very surreal. It's definitely like, a pinch me moment.
Late daytime legends Alex Trebek, Larry King, and Regis Philbin will also be honored. The talk's Cheryl Underwood is hosting. Catch the Daytime Emmys tonight on CBS and Paramount+. Lifetime has dropped the first trailer for its upcoming film Harry and Meghan, Escaping the Palace. It's the network's 3rd film about the royal couple. Jordan Dean and Sidney Morton will play Harry and Meghan. The film's release is set for the fall. And after all the hype, Fast and Furious 9, or F9, crashes into theaters today.
Y'all ever thought about the wild missions we've been on? We've taken out planes, trains, tanks. I'm not going to even think about the submarine.
Vin Diesel's character Dom reunites with his estranged brother Jacob, who disappeared after a car crash killed their father.
Jacob is Dom's brother.
But Dom is conflicted when he finds out his brother is the most skilled assassin and high-performance driver they've ever tried to stop. John Cena plays Jacob.
I've been both an older brother and a younger brother, and that's really what the core of the struggle of this film is about.
F9 debuts on 4,000 U.S. movie screens today. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
You like Fast and Furious?
I've seen one of them. I think the special effects are too much. It's like after the second Transformers movie almost. You're just watching them for the car crashes and stuff like that. I mean, they put parachutes on their car and backed out of it. No parachutes and just backed out of a plane one time.
Well, you know we can't do that on the road. Well, thank you for watching WBKB News at 6.
You can visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night. And check us out on our Facebook page and Twitter handle at WBKB11.
Join us tonight for WBKB News at 11 with Kent Davis. Have a great night.